Hi, Callum Brown for 74XX, back with another mailbag. This time I have several gaming items purchased from Japan through a proxy bidding service. Is it worth the hassle? Is it worth the expense? And what dumb mistake did I make? Stay tuned to find out. I use the proxy bidding and shipping service Buyee. This is actually my second time using Buyee and the first time buying any hardware. So far I have no complaints about the service, and we'll talk about the fees later in the video. Everything came packed well, even though I didn't pay for the repacking service, although this envelope is worryingly light. First up, we have Burger Time Deluxe for Game Boy. I started collecting Japanese Game Boy games about a year ago, and many are available on eBay for very good prices, and finding boxed and complete examples is much easier and cheaper compared to North American versions. One sub-collection I was gunning for was to get the Game Boy port or some variant for each of my arcade machines where available, and I could never find a good deal on Burger Time Deluxe, the closest thing to Burger Time, with only one or two auctions on eBay in the hundreds of dollars for a complete one that wasn't really sun-faded. I won this auction on Yahoo Auctions Japan for 3,900 yen, or about $36 US. This game is in nearly new condition, in fact so good there's a possibility it hasn't been opened before this. Japanese Game Boy games are not sealed in any way, so it's pretty hard to tell. The box art is great, and you pretty much can't get any further from the North American box art on this one, something like the Angry Kirby phenomenon. The manual is typical of Game Boy games of this era with the reduced color palette, and indicates that the game includes both a password system and two-player link compatibility. The cartridge is mint, and it's neat to see the Game Boy Link icon at the top, even though it's not on the box. Let's try the game out. I'm playing this on a Super Famicom with a Super Game Boy 2. Graphics are upgraded from the arcade and reformatted for the Game Boy screen. There's a new fun soundtrack, but gameplay remains the same. Walk over the burger components to drop them down a level, hopefully trapping an evil sausage or pickle if possible to remove them from the playfield for a time. You also have a limited supply of pepper sprays that can freeze an enemy for a few seconds. Really happy to finally add this to my collection at a reasonable price. Next up is simply an oddity I wanted to add to my small collection of foreign exclusive games for North American properties. This is Beavis and Butthead Virtual Stupidity. While this was released on PC in North America, this PS1 version is Japan only. The manual is fun to look through and shows a picture of the duo that dubbed the characters known as London Boots Ichigo Nigo. There's a page showing off some home video versions of episodes being released on VHS in 1997, and also there's a schedule of when you can catch Beavis and Butthead on MTV in Japan. I paid 3,586 yen, or about $32 US for this one. I can play the game on my modded PS1. Just hearing the dubbed laughter is amazing, and the intro videos are great.
Beavis and Butthead はお手本ではありません。人間ですらありません。ただの漫画です。彼らの真似をすると怪我したり停学になったり逮捕されたり。
わかりません。
ご利用ありがとうございます。
The main game is a point-and-click adventure, so it's not really playable without knowing Japanese, but you can poke around the first screen or follow a walkthrough if you really wanted to. I'll hold out for the English PC version.
うわー！猿が俺を見てる！やめろ言ってくれ！
There are 4 mini-games available though. You've got Hawk a Loogie, where you move back and forth and hawk loogies at passers-by. Bug Justice, where you attempt to save candy from critters by burning them with a magnifying glass. Court Chaos, where you take control of a tennis ball launcher. And Air Guitar, misspelled on the menu for some reason, where you can play little musical ditties. None of these are very engaging, and they didn't include support for the PlayStation mouse, so control on these mini-games is slow. So this game will pretty much remain a collectible on the shelf. Oh well, I really wasn't expecting anything more. Okay, now we come to the mistake I made. While looking through the Game Boy listings, I came across this really nice looking Tom and Jerry Part 2, which I had never seen before in Japanese, and I was the only bidder at 2,300 yen, or about $21 US. Well, I just didn't check the pictures thoroughly enough because it turns out I only bought the box. After realizing this, I was able to buy the cartridge for another $10 or so, but with so few listings for the game, I'm guessing it'll be a while before I see a manual. Oh well, live and learn. I'll review the game in another mailbag once I receive the cartridge. Next is Seaman for the Sega Dreamcast. This is a game that has gone way up in price for the North American release in recent years, so at the prices I was seeing on Yahoo Auctions, it was a no-brainer to pick up a complete copy for only 1,000 yen or about $9. I do actually want to play this game, so I'll need to pick up a North American disc, but it'll be one of the few times I'll be happy just buying a disc-only version since I can keep it in this Japanese box. I can't demonstrate this one because I forgot I actually don't have a Dreamcast right now, but the Angry Video Game Nerd has a great episode on this one. Finally, I decided to gamble on a Roland SC55 MK2 sound module, which is commonly recommended for use with mid-90s PC games that have general MIDI support. I say gamble because the auction was marked as junk. The term junk is a little misleading. This is the term used for anything untested or broken, with the implication that it can't be returned for any reason. This was marked as junk due to the fact the seller didn't have an AC adapter to test it with, and I thought it was worth the relatively low asking price of 8,300 yen or about $76 US. So does it work? Okay, moment of truth. Nice. Excellent. And yes, it works just fine. Let's take a moment to listen to some Soundblaster versus SC55 comparisons for a few PC games. First up, Mortal Kombat 2. First, let's listen to the regular Soundblaster sound. And now General MIDI through the SC55. Next is a game called Darker. Again, we'll start with the Soundblaster sound. And the general MIDI track. The SC55 also features a basic MT32 compatibility mode activated by a button combination, but it only supports games that just use the original instrument patches, which actually isn't that many. But an obvious choice to test this out is The Secret of Monkey Island. Now, all the prices I've mentioned so far are only part of the story. On top of the winning bid, you have to pay a payment processing fee and a proxy bidder fee for each item. Then you have to pay the domestic shipping fee from the seller to Buyee. Then you will most likely opt for a package consolidation fee of 1,000 yen. And finally, you have to pay the international shipping fee. Because of restrictions shipping internationally with Japan Post, I was only offered shipping by courier, which turned out to be DHL, and it was surprisingly affordable at only $38 US for the fairly sizable package that I got. Unfortunately, I was hit with a $38 customs charge when it came in, but this wasn't really a surprise since I receive DHL packages often. They always have a $20 brokerage fee, and because these are normal consumer items, they are subject to Canadian tax. In this chart, I distributed the consolidation fee, international shipping fee, and customs fee to each item proportionally to the auction price, so the more expensive items are allotted a larger part of those fees. I think this makes sense, especially when none of the items are particularly large or heavy. Starting with Seaman, the total cost was around $21 US, which is a slam dunk since I could barely find a complete microphone for under $50 US elsewhere. As for the game, I can buy a North American disc fairly cheaply, probably around $15 to $20 if I keep an eye out, since most collectors don't bother with disc-only games. For Burger Time Deluxe for Game Boy, we're looking at about 64 US. I made a little mistake here and paid an extra 300 yen for inspection by Buyee. I just clicked the wrong menu item. The next cheapest complete Burger Time Deluxe I could find on eBay was about 122 US, so I definitely came out ahead. I certainly hadn't seen any better price on eBay in the past year that I was watching. Tom and Jerry 2 is really hard to value since it's just the box, and with so few other auctions to compare to, I have no idea if anybody else would even buy this. So the box ended up costing me a total of about $38 US, and the cartridge that I have since ordered will amount to another 22, so a total of about $60 US, still lacking a manual. Still, I don't think I overpaid, and it's still going to look great in the collection. Beavis and Butthead Virtual Stupidity. There is a single listing for $230 US after shipping on eBay, but I can see an actual auction that ended at about only $51 US and actually included the Obi, which mine did not. So my final cost of about $56 US is probably a tad high. A good example of something that seemed cheap, but the savings were eaten up by the fees. Finally, the Roland SC55 MK2 sound module comes in at $120 US. The next best price I can find on eBay at the moment adds up to about $193 US, but I can also see some sold listings closer to $160. Considering I gambled on this junk item, this is a marginal victory, but a victory nonetheless. So overall, I'm very happy with this set of purchases. Everything arrived in great condition, and I'm glad the Roland Sound Canvas turned out to be working, even though it was marked as a junk item. But you can see how the small fees add up and can erase the savings you think that you're getting by buying through a proxy bidding service. So always be sure to actually check your sources like eBay to see what you can get directly from Japan without using a proxy bidder service. But don't be afraid to try it out as long as you understand the fee schedule. I already have another package from Japan on its way, so stay tuned for another mailbag soon. Until then.